Hi, my name is Brian Francis. I work in our undergraduate programs office in Haslam College Business at the University of Tennessee. On behalf of the college and the university, congratulations on your acceptance, and we're really excited that you're going to be joining us to continue your academic journey. This video is set to prepare you for your virtual advising and registration. During that time, you'll be meeting one-on-one with an advisor, likely via Zoom, to help you get prepared for the fall semester. So in this video, several of my colleagues are going to share with you information that's going to help you prepare for that and get you started on the right foot. So again, welcome to the Haslam College Business, and now I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues.
Hi, my name is Megan Laverty, and I'm an advisor in the Haslam College of Business. As Brian mentioned, you'll be meeting with one of my colleagues today for your virtual advising and registration appointment. For orientation, we'll talk about your classes for fall, all of the different policies, and later in this video, you'll learn about the catalog and the handbook as well. One of the classes that we'll plan for the fall is Business Administration, or BUAD 100. In this class, your instructor will also be your advisor, so you'll get to know them really well. You'll also get to know your peers in the class who are fellow students in the Haslam College of Business. You'll see them in your classes this semester and in the future. Your advisor will meet with you every semester to plan your classes, talk about how the semester went, see if there's anything that you want to get involved with on campus, and talk about careers and internships. Your advisor is really there as a support system. We're here to make sure that you feel connected to campus. If you ever have a question or are not sure who to reach out to, your advisor is a great first stop.
And now, Kendra's going to introduce the undergraduate catalog.
Hey everybody, my name is Kendra Duncan and I'm an academic advisor in the Haslam College of Business. Today I'm going to talk to you about the online catalog where you can find important information like the academic policies and procedures.
This is the online catalog. We're going to start by going to the university's homepage, utk.edu. Over here on the right hand side you can click menu and we are going to click academics. So once we get to the academics page, over here on the right, you'll see where it says course catalog, so we want to click that. So you can always get to the catalog this way, or if you just want to do the shortcut, you can also just go to catalog.utk.edu. Pretty easy to remember. So once we get to the online catalog, there's a lot of information on this online catalog, and it is every student's responsibility to know the information that is listed in the catalog. So you definitely want to make sure you check that out, make sure you're familiar with the policies, but we are just going to cover some highlights so you'll know where to find those things. So the first thing that you'll notice is over here on the right hand side, you'll see where it says please select a catalog. That's referring to your catalog year. So typically your catalog year is when you start at the university. So it's going to be automatically set to 2020 and 2021 because that's the year that's coming up to start. But you can also click the drop-down menu and find other catalogs if you're interested in looking at those. But we're going to stick with this one since that's the year that we're starting. So over on the right-hand side of the page, something that I want to bring your attention to is academic policies and procedures. So we're going to click that link. So you can see there are a lot of different academic policies and procedures, and so we're just going to cover a few of them, but again, it is every student's responsibility to make sure they know what's listed here. So make sure you do take time to read these and get familiar with those. But there are a couple of really important ones that I want to point out. And so the first one is going to be class attendance and eligibility. Under there, you're going to see first class meeting. So we'll click on that one. So first class meeting, the university has a policy that all students need to attend their first class. If you don't attend your first class, there is the opportunity for the instructor to drop you from the course because maybe they think you're not interested in taking that class and they want to open it up for other students. So you do want to make sure that you are attending the first class meeting. If for some reason you can't be there, make sure that you're communicating with your instructor. But again, that you could be dropped from the class, but students should not assume that they will be dropped from the class. It's always the responsibility of the student to drop any courses that they are not attending. So keep that in mind, but you have to go to the first class meeting. We'll go back. The next one we want to cover is going to be over here. We'll look at grades, credit hours, and grade point average. Scroll down just a little bit, you can see the university's grading scale listed here. You can see what your GPA is at the end of each semester and where it would fall onto the scale. Just keep in mind that students do have to have at least a 2.0 GPA to stay in good standing with the university, but all of our Haslam business students do have to have at least a 2.5 GPA to stay on track with us. So that's going to be somewhere right in between a B- and a C+, but a 2.5 is required for all business students. So keep that in mind. You can read some more information about different grades, different grading scales listed there, but we're going to go back. So the next one that we want to look at is going to be under enrollment, and that is going to be information about the adding and dropping classes and the add drop period. So we'll click that one. So during your advising appointment, the person that you meet with is going to help you register for classes for the fall semester, but that does not have to be the schedule that you are necessarily stuck with. You'll have the ability to go in all summer and change the classes, add classes, choose different sections of classes, things like that, and kind of play around with your schedule. So we don't expect you at the end of your advising appointment to have the perfect schedule, because you do have the ability to go back in and play around with it a little bit more. You do have through the first 7 days of classes to make changes to that schedule for the fall without penalty. So you can add classes and drop classes without using any of your W's. But after those first 7 days of class, if there is a class that you want to drop, you'll have to use what is called a W. So throughout your undergraduate time at UT, you will have 6 W's to use during classes. So you're able to use those between the 7th day and the 84th day of classes. So you can drop a class, if it's not going well, if there's a reason you need to drop that class. Just keep in mind you do need to have at least 12 credit hours to be considered a full-time student. And one more policy here that I want to touch on is total withdrawal from the university. So we do understand that sometimes things happen that cause students to have to miss a lot of class. Something could go on in your personal life. You could end up, needing to go home, whatever it may be. But students do have the option to do what's called total withdrawal from the university. So students who want to drop all of their classes and leave the university before the term is finished can withdraw at any point through the last day of classes for the term. And so basically what would show up on your transcript is just the word withdrawn, but that doesn't impact your GPA or anything like that, nor does that use up any of your 6 individual W's that you have to use for classes. So just keep that in mind. There is that policy in place just in case. So we're going to go back here. Again, academic policies and procedures, really a page that you want to pay attention to. But we're going to scroll down a little bit and take a look at the menu over here on the right-hand side. So you'll see the first thing we want to look at, it's going to be majors A to Z. So this can just be a helpful tool if you're interested in looking at the different requirements or some of the courses that you would be taking for business. So let's say, for example, that you wanted to look at the accounting major with a collateral option. So you can click that. This will pull up a showcase of courses for the different majors and the different degrees, so you can see what your terms may look like. Keep in mind this is just an example. Not every student is going to follow this schedule exactly, but it can be helpful for you to look at the different courses if there's different majors that you're interested in or while you're still exploring. So that's helpful. Something else that we want to look at over here is going to be minors A to Z. Now, minors are not required for business students, so keep that in mind. Some students do just elect to have a minor, totally optional, but you can find information about the different minors here. Let's say, for example, that a student was interested in journalism minor, so you can click J, journalism and electronic media minor. And if you click that page, it'll tell you what the minor requirements are. It consists of 18 hours and then what those courses are. So that can be helpful as well. And then the last thing that we want to look at is going to be course descriptions. So that's majors, minors, and then course descriptions is right under there. So this is going to be very helpful as you go to register for classes. If there are class titles but you're not sure what the class is actually about, you can always look it up under course descriptions. So we'll look at a couple of examples here. A class that a lot of students might be taking their first year is going to be English 101. So we'll type English and we'll filter. So if I click English 101, it's going to give me a description of what the course is. It'll tell me if it satisfies any general education requirements. It'll tell me the grading policy for the class, and then any additional comments about the class. So you can always find those there. And every class that the university offers is going to be listed here. So you'll always be able to find additional information. Let's take a look at one more, information management. So all business students have to take a class called Information Management 242, Business Software Applications. So this is another good one. Again, you can see how many credit hours the class is. It's 3 credit hours. You can also see what the course covers, the prerequisites for the course, and any registration restrictions that it has. So I hope you found this helpful, the little tour of the online catalog, and I'm going to turn it over to Carson to discuss our student handbook.
And now we're going to turn it over to Carson, who's going to talk about the Haslam College Business Student Handbook.
Hi, my name is Carson Marsh, and I'm an advisor in the Haslam College of Business. Today, I'll be walking you through the 2020 Student Handbook. The Student Handbook lays out curriculum as well as opportunities to get involved here at Haslam. You will receive a copy of the handbook in the fall, but know that you'll always be able to access it online. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to find it, and we'll go over the contents.
You will access the Student Handbook from the homepage of our college. By going to haslam.utk.edu, you'll arrive at this screen. You'll then want to choose undergraduate programs on the right-hand side, scroll down to Advising and Resources, and you'll land on our Advising homepage. This page has a lot of helpful resources, but we're going to focus on the bottom portion where it has our digital links to our student handbooks. Soon enough, the 2020 handbook will be on this page and you'll be able to click 2020, but for now, I'll show you how to access last year's. And that's how you do it. Now let's look into the 2020 student handbook. This is the 2020 Haslam College Business Student Handbook. I encourage you to closely read through the information in the handbook beyond what I covered today. In the first section, you'll find opportunities to become involved within Haslam. This might be through our Haslam Leader Series, our intercollegiate programs, studying or interning abroad, finding an internship through our Professional and Career Development Office, joining an organization, or taking on a leadership role. All of these opportunities are in place to help you develop professionally, and you will continue to get information about these things through email after virtual advising this summer and into the fall semester. The next 2 pages talk about academic advising, which you heard about from Megan. These will cover your expectations of us and our expectations of you. Now we'll talk about curriculum. On page 12, you will find a 4-year basic breakdown of our degree requirements, and we'll go more into detail into these later. Next is Universal Tracking, or U-Track. U-Track is a system of milestones to keep students on track for a 4-year graduation. You'll see down at the bottom right-hand corner that in your first term, your most important goal is to maintain a 2.5 cumulative UT GPA, and that continues into your second and third term and in your remainder of time in Haslam College of Business. Now, starting with 4th term, that's when we will incorporate classes into your milestones. So that will include accounting, econ, so on and so forth. If you are not meeting these milestones, you run the risk of being released from Haslam College of Business. Now, keep in mind, you won't be released the first time you go off track, but if you remain off track, that's a conversation you'll be having with your advisor. And this is why it's so imperative that you let us know how things are going early on, because the sooner we know something is a problem, the sooner we can help you. Moving on to general education. You may have had an opportunity to complete some general education courses before coming to UT. This may have been through dual enrollment, advanced placement courses, or even other college credit. And that's something you'll want to discuss with your academic advisor. Under Building Basic Skills, you will see you have 9 hours or 3 classes of written communication. This will be English 101 and 102, followed by English 255 Public Writing or English 295 Writing in the Workplace. You'll also have oral communication, just one class, equivalent to 3 hours. Communication Studies 210 is public speaking, or you can choose Communication Studies 240, which is business and professional communications. Quantitative reasoning, you'll complete 6 hours of math courses. This might be Math 123, Finite Mathematics, and Math 125, Basic Calculus, or Math 141, Calculus 1, and Math 142, Calculus 2. Some of you might need to take the prerequisite course, Math 119, College Algebra, but your advisor will talk about your placement options with you. Moving on to ethics, you will only have one ethics course to complete before graduation, and you have 5 options to choose from listed below. Moving into developing broadened perspectives, the first category is going to be arts and humanities. Before graduation, you'll need to complete 2 courses from this list, and it can be any 2 of those that you so choose. You'll also need to complete 6 hours of cultures and civilizations. In the Haslam College of Business, to fulfill those 6 hours, you will need to take 2 intermediate foreign language courses of the same language. Some of you might have taken foreign language in high school and are able to take the placement exam to place into the intermediate level, or some of you might start with the elementary level, and that might mean up to 4 classes of a foreign language. But keep in mind, to fulfill this requirement, you need 2 of the intermediate foreign language. Again, you'll want to talk to your advisor about the placement. Moving on to natural sciences, the University of Tennessee requires that all students have 2 natural science courses. One of them has to have a lab, and one of them can be a non-lab course. From this list, you will see that non-lab courses have an asterisk next to them. The first on the list, Anthropology 110, is going to be one of those non-lab courses. To find one with a lab, just look throughout that list for ones without the asterisk, such as Biology 101. The university also requires 6 hours of social sciences. In the Haslam College of Business, you will fulfill the social sciences credit by taking Economics 211, Microeconomics, and Economics 213, Macroeconomics. Finally, we have our non-business electives. To graduate from the University of Tennessee, you will need to complete 120 credit hours. And depending on how many credit hours you brought into the university, you may have up to 14 or 15 hours of elective credits to take. Now we'll talk about the pre-business core. The pre-business core are a set of classes that are foundational and will help you be successful in your upper division business courses. You'll see on this page, it lays out your first and second year. Keep in mind, these courses may not necessarily be taken in this order, and you'll discuss those options with your advisor. One thing I want to note is that Information Management 242 under second year, second semester will require you to have a laptop. Thinking back to when we were talking about U-Track milestones, these 9 courses are the courses that you will want to have completed by the end of Term 4. That will include math, oral communication, written communication, accounting, economics, management, and statistics. In addition to those, you also need to keep in mind you need to have a minimum of a 2.5 UTK GPA or higher. Once you've completed both of these milestones, you will then be able to move into your upper division, major, and business courses. Once you're able to start taking business core classes, you will take the courses you see below. These classes are taken with every other business major and give you a solid foundation of different areas in business. Because of these courses, you will graduate from the Haslam College of Business with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. The white space you see during your 3rd and 4th year will be filled by your major and collateral courses. You can see these majors listed on the next page. On page 20, you will see a breakdown of each of our 9 majors. Each Haslam College of Business student is required to have a major and a second area of focus. You will get to choose between a collateral or a concentration, and while this list might look a little bit confusing, we'll kind of break that down a little bit more on other pages. But keep in mind that this second area of focus is relevant to your major that you choose to complement that major. On the next page, it goes over collaterals and concentrations, and you can read more about this information once you have the handbook. Now I want to look at accounting, and this will set an example for what you can expect from each of the majors in the handbook. You'll see that each major will list the collateral options. Business analytics, finance, information management, and international business are all options for accounting. On the left-hand side, you can see how your 3rd and 4th year will break down in terms of what classes you'll take. And then you will also see different opportunities for involvement. So for accounting, you might be interested in an internship, and there's a contact for that. Or if you are interested in joining major-specific organizations, each major will also have those listed. You will see that this continues for each of our 9 majors listed. And you can flip through this for your specific major, or if you might be interested in other majors. Keep in mind that each major has specific requirements and specific contacts for those questions that you might have. After reading through each of the major options and requirements, you will move on to page 44, which talks about our advanced placement credit. Some of you might have taken the advanced placement test while in high school, and you can see what scores correlate to what credit. For example, if you took biology AP test and you earned a 3, you will earn credit for biology 101. If you make a 5, you'll earn credit for biology 101, 102, and 116. These are things that you will want to make sure that you bring into your advising appointment, and if you have any questions, you can ask your advisor. The next 2 pages talk about resources and useful information available to you as a Haslam College of Business student. The next thing I want to talk about is your grade point average. On this page, it breaks down how grades are calculated into your GPA. You see that if you make an A, you'll have a 4.0. If you make a C, you'll have a 2.0. Keep in mind that each course specifies how you will earn that A. So how you make an A in one class might be different from how you make an A in another. Just a reminder, you'll want to make sure that you maintain at least a 2.5 cumulative UT GPA each semester. Below that is how you will calculate your GPA. You will want to take into consideration the number of credit hours for each course and the letter grade you're going to make in that class. And then from there, it will lay out exactly how to determine what your GPA will be for that specific term. Once you start your major courses, you will see that in the gray box, you can figure out how to calculate your major GPA. This will be helpful if you want to include that on your resume. The last couple of pages go over some more helpful resources and information, as well as some contact information for cross-campus partners. And that's it. That's the 2020 Haslam College Business Student Handbook.
Well, this concludes the video that you're to watch prior to your virtual advising registration. Please remember that there's a quick quiz to be completed after this video, just to ensure that some of this information is sunk in. We look forward to meeting you during virtual advising and registration, and if you have any questions or concerns between now and then, please do not hesitate to reach out. We will do whatever we can to assist. Thank you and have a wonderful day.